What's going on, guys? So today on this Double October review, we're going to be looking at something a little bit different. And you're going to be like, Shoki, but that's not a Double O kit. Ha ha ha. Pretty much is. So it is, of course, the HG Build Fighters, Transient, Gundam, Team Celestial Spheres, Wilfred Kishima's mobile suit. Now, last year, or possibly the year before, we did Shia's Quanta. So, I mean, if it's Double O based, it counts. Kind of like Double O Diver and stuff like that. You know, if it's based off a Double O thing, it matters. And previously, a long time ago, I sort of talked about this kit and thinking that it was based off of the Estrella. But as I learned going through the instructions, it's actually based off of the HG Exia. But we'll go over that more here. But let's look at the box. So, great image of him there blasting and fighting outside the colony. So it was the first kind of big, or well, I guess the last final battle between them and the Tri-Fighters. Yeah, it's a pretty cool suit. It was always one of my favorite things that came from this version of Build Fighters. And of course, you got all the logos, the Build Fighters Tri logo there, Bandai 2015 down there. God, it's been since 2015. And the old school blue Bandai logo is there. Now come to the side. We got him there in a cool action pose with both his GN Lancers, I think is what they were called. I believe it was Lancer. So he did start out with only one, ended up going twin down the line for the final battle. It looks pretty cool right there. You've got something that is pointing out there. I honestly don't know. And he's got there. And then, hey, comes to a stand. You've got, look at this, he can fight things. And of course, you've got the... Is it Kamiki? It's not a Kamiki burning. I mean, it looks like the Build burning, but it almost looks like the Tri burning. Which one do I have? Oh, I've got the Tri burning. Okay. So it's been a while. And actually, I've never reviewed that kit. I have it. I built it. I never reviewed it. So there's something I could do in the future. Then you come to that side, and you got HG Build Fighters, number 34 in the line. Transient Gundam, BandaiHobby.net. And you got the obligatory front and rear shots there. You got the read up there as he's fighting. That looks like the initial battle where we first saw the Transient versus the Tri-Burn, or the Build Burning before he upgraded it, I believe. Or, I don't remember. I know it was Build Burning first. That only lasted so long. Then they did Tri-Burning when he kind of redid it ever so much. And then he upgraded. He fought him there. It was after being tuned up by Shia. And anyways, you got the little guy with toilet. 3-year-olds don't like Transient Gundam in their face. And 1,800 yen, so a little bit more than a usual kit. And you got illustration is by Koma. Hold on, we got JP Regi. Okay. Illustration by Koma, background images by Yamamoto Hiroyuki. So, it's a good looking box. We like boxes around here. And as with most of the builds from this Double October, there's not going to be a build montage. I apologize. And due to the timing of things, I'm not going to be able to do all the comparisons I really want to do. So, it is what it is. So, let's go ahead and pull this guy out of here. Come on, Kishima. Alright, so as usual, got him out here on the turntable. So we'll go ahead and give him a quick roundabout. And of course, this is pre-weapons and stuff like that. So early on in his battle with the Build Burning, or the Tri-Burning, whichever one it was at that point. Tri-Burning at that point, I believe. It looks like this. That's right, it was Tri-Burning, or Build Burning at first. Tri-Burning when they went to training, when they were heading for the Worlds. That's right. Anyways, so there it is in the basic mode. Now this kit was an interesting build. After building several versions of the Exia at this point, I thought that because it was a base, or it was based off of the Exia, that I was going to have some similar features. Nope. It doesn't really in almost any way build like the actual Exia kit, because it is a significantly newer version. But it's very cool looking. I like the white, I like the blues. It's very good looking kit. And I realize I don't think he's even technically... Okay, here's the weird part about the mirror. His heels and stuff don't even look like they're touching. Look. I don't think I've ever noticed that because almost everything else is standing flat. That's kind of funny. But you got translucent parts all over him. You got the GN condensers on the arms, on the legs. You got the blades on his back. All the cool stuff like that. I really do dig it. So let's get him off the turntable and take a closer look at stuff. Okay, so I'm definitely running into that little bit of the problem where if it's an all-white kit, it's very difficult to video. But like I said, this thing was a very different build compared to the standard Exia that is supposedly based off of. And you want to argue with me, that's fine, but the instructions clearly say that the material gunpla for this thing was the HG Exia. So, you know what, just consult the instructions and it literally tells you that. Now, he does have a nice head sculpt. That part is very similar to the way the Exia head is, but all these new plates and stuff like that, this is all very different. Actually more reminiscent of, like, say, a Curios or one of those, where it's got the face plates and stuff like that. That's much more similar. It does have some blue translucent there on the face, blue chin, which is cool. He does have some green eyes, which are really hard to see because they're way back in there. There we go. And blue translucent on the side of the head. It is just a basic double jointed polycap, so can do the things. And he's not really encumbered by anything, so you can actually rotate the head. I did remove the safety nubs off of the V-fins, though part of me thinks that it was kind of meant to have them. It's weird to see it without, if I'm honest. Come down to the chest, you do get the blue front crystal here of the GN drive. I do believe there's a sticker back there. Yeah, there is. Okay. And of course you see all the other goodies there. He does have some of the similarities here where he does have a butterfly joint to a degree so that the chest parts do move. I like that, though it is nothing like the way the Exia was constructed. Shoulders can rotate almost all the way around, but you run into the little back wings and get them out of the way a little bit here. And it does kind of come up like so. Rotate the bicep, stuff like that. Use the elbow, and you can get a high Kijima. It's not very good because the giant shoulder piece here. By the way, if you look in there, you got some vents. I did paint them with some gray. That is that weird Gundam frame gray, I believe is what it is, or mecha gray. I can't remember. It is a Gundam marker color. I need to actually look up the name of it. But you do get some rotation here, and you get some pivot. It's very nice. Ball joint in the middle there. But once again, go back to the arms. Sorry, I got distracted by the fact that it actually has some torso articulation. Double jointed elbow, which makes it so awesome. So this is the benefit of it being a significantly newer kit versus being one of the original kits from 00. So he can do, though you can't see me. I know I hate myself too for saying that. And he does come with this nice expressive hand. He does have a slot here for the GN Vulcans, though I thought he came with some beam blades for that. I could be wrong. They weren't in the box, so I'm confused. Because I thought he could do like a blade coming out. I could have sworn he did that in the thing. I'm going to double check real quick. Okay, so I'm a dummy. It doesn't come with anything. They just sort of reference it and they kind of point out what it is. Being that it's basically a GN Vulcan, just like Exia does have. Anyways, so back to the waist articulation. He does rotate pretty freely, honestly. The backpack hinders just a little, but not very much. Come down to the front. You do have some split skirts that can get up and out of the way. I like the blue replacing any kind of red that would normally be there. He can do an okay chorus line. Can't really get his leg up very high the way that how thick this thigh clearance is. And with the side skirts the way they are, he's not going to get a super good Jean-Claude without pushing those off. I guess if you kick them back just a hair, get a little bit more clearance. He does have universal style hips, which is nice. And he does have some shimmy. So the side to side shimmy. And thigh rotation is there, but it hits, so it doesn't go very far, which is fine. It does have single jointed knee. Get you to about there. I guess it's double jointed, so it bends here and then that slight bend right there. Not doing you a whole lot of favors, but it's there. Did I miss a nub or is that a... Okay, that's just a piece of plastic. So nice molding here on the legs. I like that. Just got the extra parts there. And the feet are nice and articulated, so just ball joint mount there. Ankle doesn't do much there. I thought that was on a hinge, though. Oh, it is. Okay. It's just all the way out. So his toes are meant to do a point. like so, which is cool. So whenever he's doing his kind of floating stance, he can do that. And from the back, it looks pretty good. So you've got the cool GN drive setup back here, along with these wings that have all kinds of posability. So you've got the clear parts that are hinged. You've got these thingies that are on ball joints. Does this move? Yes, that moves too. So you got all these cool blades and stuff. I think this... yeah, that comes off. Okay. Why does it come off? I feel like there's a point to that, and I just don't know what it is off the top of my head. But he's very, very nice. I like it. I like him a lot. So, let's go ahead and talk accessories. And we're going to do the first one right off the bat, which is the stand, which is a nice clear blue, super basic stand. Does just plug in right in there. So now that he's on the stand, he can do everything else that we want to do with him. And we can do the legs kind of in the position. So go ahead and point the toesies. Do this point. Do this. And he can just chill out like that. Looks very nice. I digs that. He does come with several different types of hands. Not several, but a few. Come back here. Because he can fight physically. He does have 2 fisted hands, not weapon holding hands. And he comes with the expressive hand, like almost every 00 Gundam does. With the left hand only. I really wish he'd come with some other ones. Now, I guess you can buy some of the fighting hands, like the Jigen hands and stuff like that. So, I don't know. You could do all those things. It is what it is. But of course, his main accessories are his GN Lancers. And he does have 2 of them. I'm just showing off the one because, well, it's identical. Now you do get some lance holding hands, which I definitely appreciate. You get the thumbs up, like so. And they do separate into twin thingies because, you know, in case you break one, you can always do it that way. I like that. And, of course, he does hold it ever so carefully. Like so. I dig that. Just kind of, there we go. Make my life easier so I'm not having to hold it up. And these do hinge out into kind of the beam shooting version. And it does sort of lock in place. I dig that look. I digs it a lot. And in case these look familiar, there should be a reason for that. When you bring out this girl, you can see she definitely borrowed the weapons from the Transient when making the Quanta. So these now become like the funnels slash shields, and the other end of it becomes her sword there, and then, you know, all the other GN Lancing parts. So I did want to bring her out for comparison because, well, it's the only real comparison, if I'm honest. And I do dig it. Am I missing parts here? I just realized these holes are open there. Did I kind of miss some parts when I built her? Wait, I didn't build her. I forgot. Miss Shoki built her that whenever. I keep thinking it was last year. Was it last year? I don't even know. From like, yeah, it's like it's a thing. It's a thing. But you can see how this ends up being this to a degree down the line, and that's how hands get popped off, and it's annoying. So that's about the closest I've actually gotten to having a 00 Quanta HG. But once again, we just had to have her in there. And yes, once again, we have 2 of these. So we're going to bring that out and do this right here. And so we can have that. It is kind of a loose fit, but it's still good, I guess. And I guess if you want to, you can turn the arms, have him holding them out like that. You can have him thrusting it forward, so to speak. Blasting that way. This is one of those times where it'd be cool if it actually made blast effects and stuff like that. I don't know, you tell me. Now, I do have the problem that I don't have the base Exia to compare him to anymore. Because I did give that to, or at least the parts of it, to Rodimus 13 for his custom. But, you know, realistically, it doesn't share any parts, so there's no real reason to compare it. It's just that in universe, he used the HG Exia as the base model. So, quick break time, and then come back for final thoughts. Alright guys, so final thoughts wise, I like this kit. It was not what I was expecting. The engineering is so different from everything else I was already building at this point that it kind of threw me for a loop. It was not a hard kit. In fact, I got it done fairly quick. The number of stickers is really limited, so you're not having to worry about that. Just adding a little bit of paint to it helped out, and I mean just a little bit, just a couple little spots for detail work, stuff like that. Made it worth it. And you get some cool weapons. I do like these parts. The translucent is always a little bit of a pain in the butt because you end up with nubs you can't really do a whole lot about. The different design and stuff like that is cool. I like, you could pull this backpack off and probably slap it on a different Gunpla, which would be neat. It does have some better posability. The details are really cool, and the fact that, you know, it was part of one of the best battles from Build Fighters ever was awesome. This guy fighting the Tri-Burning with all the extra parts from the other kits and stuff like that are definitely worth it. And, you know, I've wanted to do this guy for Double October for almost 2 years now. And it took until this year for me to finally get this kit. It was kind of crazy that it's such a popular kit that I literally could not get it until this year to actually, you know, review. I mean, I could have borrowed one, but I really wanted to build it. Plus, I'm always a fan of this. And, yeah, like I said at the beginning, I thought it was built off of Estrella, but just due to some of the details, but of course it's not. It's built off of Exia, which is cool in and of its own right. So, guys, if you built this guy, let me know what you've done with it. I've seen some cool customs. Speaking of which, you know, if you guys have not done it yet, I know this is still at the time, but I'm giving people as much time as I can. If you have custom 00 kits, if you've done stuff like that, go to the Shoki Discord. The link is in the description down below as always. I will be doing a video at the end of this month. It's probably the last week I'll take submissions. If you guys have built cool custom 00 stuff, or if you just have a neat collection of 00 stuff, please go show it off in the Discord server, because that way I can show off your work as well as my own. But of course, guys, go check out the Patreon if you want to help support the channel and be like Thomas, John, and Megan. And of course, if you want 00 merch, 00 October merch, it is available, always in the description down below. You guys should have seen some of that by now. And actually, this year the prices are a bit lower because I wanted more people to want to buy the stuff. I mean, it means a little bit less profit for me, but if more people get the merch, that's fine. And there will be limited time merch coming up later in the month. And of course, this is just some inside baseball for you guys, because as of the point of me filming this, because I'm not entirely certain about some of the schedule, the tour shirt is not available. It's just a very basic one. So once I have the actual order of events of the month done, and I know exactly what I'm going to have, the tour shirt will go up for availability. So hopefully you don't have to buy things twice. I'll try to make things just a little bit different. But I'll catch you guys on the next review. Come back tomorrow, and we'll see even more stuff. I'll see you then. And remember, as always, to keep on building.